Did you know that BDSM and kink are healthy outlets for aggression, imagination, and attention? Hi, and welcome to the Partition, home of kinky wellness. My name is Dana Slosser, and I'm a sexual wellness coach that dives deep into all things kinky. I'm here to show how BDSM and kink deserves a rightful spot within the sexual wellness conversation. So, let's talk about it. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Partition.
Hi, everybody. How's your week's going?
It's going good. Welcome back to the show, Katrina.
Hello.
So this week was fun. We did a Vice documentary on Tantra Island, the search for sexual pleasure. And it's about I want to say almost a community. It says it's a resort or retreat, but honestly, it just seemed like there was a lot of people with a community mindset. To their definition, like whether or not you'd want to live there, we don't know yet. But it's in Thailand, and yes, it is about a sexual retreat. But what was your first takeaway? How about we start there?
Okay, there were positives to it and there were negatives to it.
Yes,
my first takeaway was it was very white.
Okay, that's jokes.
You know what I mean? Without being rude about it, I just found a lot of the people, especially the Egyptian sex magic, I was like, that looked really fun. But there weren't any Egyptian people there. And I found it funny when like the lady who was doing the interviewing almost kind of called her out by going, well, you're talking about Egypt, and then Tantra comes from India, and Indian culture. And I found it was quite an interesting way where she was almost like, how do you connect these things? Because it's neo-Tantra now, because it has been westernized.
Yeah. Well, I didn't notice that. I think maybe because I just thought they're the people who choose to go there. Like maybe people of color are like, we don't want to go there. Like they were just like, no, I'm done. Like not saying that they don't want to, but like, I don't know. They can't really control who shows up there, I guess. I didn't really notice.
It's the place where it is where a lot of the white people go. I'll be honest and say it. Like, I think my favorite line of the entire thing, and I've got my notes about this, was, what is it, where she's talking about this specific place in Thailand, and she's like, yeah, it's known for cheap vodka and fingering. And I was like, that is such a British stereotype, but so true.
So funny.
It's like when people talk about, what's it called, not Thailand, Ibiza, for like, you know, when you talk about Ibiza, it's known for like the partying and stuff like that, because white, predominantly British people go there and ruin everybody else's good times. But yeah, it was an interesting one. What did you find about it?
Well, right away, I liked the conversation they had about the gray area over if something bad happens. And because I like the sense of accountability, in the sense that you don't know who your people are going to be. You can't read everyone's mind, and they acknowledge that, and they weren't naive about it. I thought that was a solid takeaway, because I do consider that a gray area. They understand that there's an amount of danger in their work, but they're not going into it being like, this will be a dangerous thing. But if something were to happen, I acknowledge that I put myself in something that could cause potential harm.
No, I agree. I think one of the things that I also really enjoyed was, obviously, they didn't shy away from the dark side of Tantra and how it has been used and like almost twisted by people who do want to use that as a way to take advantage. But I like the way that they kind of turned it around at like this commune, not a community, it's a commune, isn't it?
Yes.
By turning around and being like, yeah, this is why we do consent role playing. And I really, really liked that kind of, that idea of being like, you can say no. And I liked that, I liked the consent role play, because I liked that it gave people who wouldn't necessarily have thought to say no, it gave them the opportunity to say, you can say no. I thought that was really well done.
Yes, no, I absolutely loved it. The classes themselves I thought was amazing. Like the yoni egg one, that class, like just really all the specific classes, the breath work one took my breath away. Like I actually felt bad for the girl who was doing the breath work when she started to cry and the cameras were all there and they wouldn't let her go. And because breath work, yoga, meditation, all of these things, it's so, you have to understand like things are going to happen. You can have the attitude, it won't affect me, but it does. And breathing, like you can heal yourself through breathing. And so I don't know, I felt so bad for her that she just had such a bad experience for that.
I agree. I liked the way that the guy checked in immediately when he noticed that it wasn't just her going like just going through the motions. He's like, no, it's that. And I do agree with what they said. And even she said it as well, where she was like, I don't know if it's that intense for everybody or if it is just, you have to remember, like, because I'm filming, because she's doing it in such a short filming time. Even she said it isn't just once or twice, it is, I am doing class after class after class after class, and you're like, all of them are very intense classes, no matter how soft they were. I've got to admit, I don't know if you found it as well, the thing that I thought was quite fascinating, and one of the positives that I like, that actually I found really does connect with what you talk about at the Partition anyway, the fact that a lot of the classes were based in BDSM practices. So the shibari, the impact play.
Yeah.
I was
gonna say, basically welcome to the Partition. I was like,
yes.
this is my future. I that's the thing about it. Like it is risky in the sense of like, it does draw predators to places like this. You do have to be you do have to be on guard, but there's so much healing in sex like this, that you can break sex down into these like classes where you can teach people. And I do think that more people are benefited from stuff like this. And it's unfortunate that there's negativity, like, or that negative things happen, but like, don't think it's going to happen to you. Like you can take these practices and do this in your own home with people, you know, you don't have to go to a resort. So this is education. I think I'm going to put the link obviously in the description, but everybody better watch it. Watch this documentary. It
is very good. I think even if you don't want to do it yourself, I think it is an eye-opening one. And I think as well, it was eye-opening as well, because they did have to touch upon, you know, the two big cults that Tantra is known for, but they also kind of showed this side of it where they are saying like, yeah, these things happened and these people were awful people, but that isn't everything about the community. Not every male practitioner, not every male teacher is going to be a sexual predator. In fact, I found the male class really fascinating. And like that idea of like, for men and masculine energy, I really like that he did it. It wasn't just focused on connecting with women, but you know, he made them talk to each other and like actually talk about each other in a way that I don't think men get the opportunity to develop that kind of deeper connection with another man. And like, maybe that is just because I'm gay, so I don't really
I absolutely, that's how I feel about all the classes, that these are all classes that everyone should take, and it helps on such like deep levels of it. But I also understand why you would be hesitant to go should you be single, because it can be awkward if you are going as a single person, because you have to partner up with people. And if you don't want to be really close to strangers, and you might not have as good of a time. Like even, I don't know, like this might be a small example, but even when Anu and I went to yoga, there was this moon party and we had to all like hug strangers and things like that and like do this whole thing. But what happened ended up was like, I ended up hugging a stranger who just started to break down on my shoulder and just started crying. And I don't think I was in the headspace to like take on someone's energy like that. And I just was like, I was super uncomfortable. I was like, oh my God, I just don't want to be in this situation. So then I like went back and I was like, no, like we're not being each other's partner. Like we're not doing what they say. Like we're just going to buddy up. Like I don't care like at this point. So I think, they mentioned it as well in the documentary when they said like, oh, like be wary of sexual predators, but also like get close to these random strangers. And they were saying like you can be really mixed because you don't know, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't know. Like, so I would, if anybody was to go, like I honestly think you should bring a partner. Like
Yeah.
I would. Maybe you don't have to. I'm not saying you don't, blah, 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 but you should. I think it's better experience because you'd be a little bit more relaxed and you can build off of things.
I think because there's a point that you actually really see with that, where that assignment that she gets given about the party, where it's like you have to, and I did like that she actually said that. She's like, there's so many mixed messages just from this. On one side, I'm being told it's my feminine energy and independence and healing, yet at the same time, I'm being told, I have to do this for the male, and I have to like find a man to bring along to the party. I couldn't just come to the and I agreed with her for walking away, where she was like, you've told me it's all about this, and yeah, maybe it is because I've got healing to do, or maybe it is just because I'm uncomfortable, but that bit where they're like, you have to dance for the man, and you're like, I get it. If you've got a partner like that German couple, that's fine, that's beautiful, that's an amazing way of doing it. But when she couldn't find someone and they literally just gave her some, like this random guy, you're like, am I going to be able to do that? Like,
what kind of message are you sending when it's just finding any male? Like, that's what I fucking have a problem with like modern day hookup, is just like find somebody and take them home to fuck. No, don't fucking do that. And don't just find somebody to give your feminine energy to just cause. Like, I don't buy into that either. Like, sure, if it works for you, go for it. But I just feel like that's a mixed bag. Don't do that.
No, I agree. Although with that same woman, that I had, like, who was doing it, I was a bit like, but I did like her talk about healing. I thought that was the way she talks about it was really beautiful, where she's like, is there a way to 100% heal? And she very honestly was like, no, it is a journey that you will always be on. And I was like, actually, I thought that was a really beautiful thing to say, and a very beautifully honest thing to say, because actually she's on TV. They're ultimately doing it for their own kind of PR, to say to people, come to this commune. It could have been very easy for her to have turned around and actually have gone, oh yeah, of course, you're going to leave this place 100% healed.
Oh my God, yeah, like
very naive people and very vulnerable people, but actually she's very honest. And then she turned it around by doing that whole, you have to find a man and give him your energy. And it's like, it's one or the other, babe, because what if somebody's healing journey is that they don't want a man near them, they don't want masculine energy anywhere near them, which is what
I think they wouldn't sign up for this class specifically. But in the same breath, I feel like with her case, it also goes to show, like, I just don't feel like you can force anybody to just be sexual with each other. Like, it's just not, it's difficult to do that. It's either fake, for starters, or it makes you uncomfortable. Or it's both, like, there's not really.
Yeah, it was like the tying up one, and where she was like, I'm not comfortable with doing this. And I think you could see that with quite a few of the people in the room, especially when you suddenly had to go from being the one on top to being the one vulnerable and being done. And I found it was there was a lot of mixed messages I found for it. So I found like, would you do Tantra or do a retreat or experience?
Absolutely, but I'd bring my partner with, like, I'd bring a new with me. Like, there's just like, I wouldn't do it.
Weird if you didn't, to be honest.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't do it solo, and I'm really glad that I never did do one of these things solo. Like, I've always wanted to, but after even the smallest experiences of the yoga retreat and like really letting strangers into your circle, like your personal space, I was like, I don't care. Like, this is just not how I relax. Like, you can't tell me to relax while I'm doing this. Like, I don't know, like, not like I felt like in danger or anything, but dude, I just don't want someone else to cry on me. I believe that energy gets stuck on me. Now I have this like crying man's energy that I have to like like shed from, like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
No, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. But that's how I feel sometimes, you know, when negative people drain you out. But
yeah.
anyways, what else did I say? Like, I did like how it was structured. I loved how it looked. Like, it looks beautiful there. Like, I would love to be there. Like, no wonder people want to go. But also, like, damn, Thailand. Like, I didn't realize that they had this big of stuff, I guess. But
it's a massive draw for their tourism culture. And I think you saw that in the fact that it was very much a lot like English speaking people were there. Like, it wasn't, you know,
well,
Taiwanese
even with
people.
like the controversy people that were brought up, and she said, well, I don't remember how it was like that. Like, it wasn't like that when I was there. And then Anu was like, that's not how he's portrayed at all. Like, he says some really wisdom stuff. So it's like, I don't know. It sucks that like one story like got out, but if they tried like the documentaries, I feel like don't ruin what this stands for when this guy abused that. Like,
Yeah.
it's two different things, but I feel like sometimes there's so much fear around stuff like this that some people might not be encouraged to try it, because the first thing that comes up is like, oh, controversy, stranger danger, like when really the message behind it, like, it's just so sad, like, when that type of narrative goes out, because that woman like totally just said, that's not my experience, but you learn there. And it sucks that people keep wanting to bring up negative conversations about it. I guess I get that it brings up conversations about other stuff, but you completely get sidetracked to what the actual message is.
Yeah, and I did like when they talked about, you know, not just the one from the Wild Wild West documentary, the other one, and that woman actually came on and was like, you know, it took me years to be groomed until the abuse happened. But I like that she was even like, what happened there and what Tantra is, they're not the same thing.
Yeah.
And I like that she did say that as well. I'm like, to be honest, for myself, I would be convinced to try it in private, but I don't think I could do a retreat. And maybe it is just because this retreat focused very primarily and heavily on heterosexual couples. I think if it was, it would just make me be like, I don't know if that is something that I would find.
No, and that raises a good point. Like, there should be, honestly, in my opinion, if there can be resort just for lesbian, just for gay, just for heterosexual, just for everything in between. Like, that's the thing. Like, I feel like that's definitely okay, because sex is super personal and intimate, and there's more than enough people in every group to certainly have a resort. Like, we don't need to argue about that one. Like,
and I think it's also masculine and feminine energy are not confined to gender. It's not, I don't have feminine energy because I'm born a woman and I identify as a woman, and you know, sometimes as a they them. I'm gender over it, not gender non-binary. I am just me. But you know, but I still would say I have very feminine energy, the energy that I present, the energy that I feel for myself. But then I'm attracted to masculine energy. But the idea of dating a man is disgusting to me. Like, no offense.
yeah, well, Sadhguru, I think, said the best. It's like, when you equal balance in both your feminine and your masculine energy, you'll be able just to kind of see things with more of a level head. So I think that's what everyone should strive for, is like, it's good to mix both. There shouldn't be an extreme on either side. No, I think that people do need to find more balance. Like, and that's nothing, like, just in energy, their feminine and masculine energy.
No, I agree on that one. But I find like with the Tantra side of it, it is about that meeting, isn't it? Of masculine and feminine energy coming together and creating.
Oh, certainly with this one. I think that this one was definitely very like heterosexual for sure. Like, with that type of like, males are this, females are that. Even in the example of the women dancing around the fire, and like, your job is to go get a male. So that definitely wouldn't appeal to people, certain people. Like, so that, I guess, like, I didn't even look into that or anything, what type of people they were inviting. But yeah, I think it's safe to say that this was a heterosexual one.
Exactly. It was very, very heterosexual, I found. But I also, you know, when I got past that and I got past like the assignment and that side of things, I did find there was some very beautiful positives, and the talks about sex and healing, and the talks about consent, and, you know, about working through your trauma via breathing exercises, and the way Tantra there's very different ways of doing it. And I liked that the girl, like the woman who did the actual thing, I liked that she went into it with a very open mind.
Mm-hmm.
She was honest about the things she didn't like, which I think was good, but she tried everything. And I think that is, you have to applaud her for that.
And she stood her ground when she didn't want to talk about something. Like at the table when they were pressing her on her, like whatever happened with her boyfriend, I was just like, dude, she already said no. And then she said it again. And I was like, man, she's very professional. Like this is stressful. It's very vulnerable. Like even to do those things on camera, like you're just like, okay, I know that this is for work, but like, okay, like you don't know, other people can just creep you out and you don't know why, and then you're forced to like do some erotic dance for them. Like no way.
Exactly. I felt so bad because the one person, she was like, yeah, this guy's got really lovely energy, I think we've got like a beautiful connection. And he was like, I'm so sorry, I can't go. And I was like,
I did not expect that. I was like, no.
Oh, but I really did enjoy it. I found it was very interesting to learn about what Tantra is, because I think it's a term that gets used a lot whenever you're looking for, like, you know, as somebody who writes about sex and like sexual wellness and sexual topics.
I think BDSM and kink is just a funny title they give it for Tantra. Like all roots go back to it. Like India's got sex gods that like have beautiful histories and like fierce stories behind them. Like I'll get more details on them. I'll bring them onto the show one of these days, but it's just so cool. Like we don't really, I don't know, sometimes I look at Canada, I'm like, it's so boring. Boring. There's no history here. Like not in the way that like there can't be, like, quote unquote, the Canada that we know it is right now. It's like 100-something years old. Meanwhile, India's like, what is it? Hundreds of thousands of years BC or whatever. It just goes back so long. I don't know.
Agreed. I think we have in Celtic mythology, we have some interesting sex gods.
Ooh, we should just come back one episode. Just so everybody knows, we're gonna do an episode on sex goddesses and gods. So that's a good.
Although my favorite one is about birth, and like this woman had there's a whole Celtic one about men having to getting cursed to feel the pain of labor, which is probably one of my favorite stories.
That's actually hilarious. And they should, now we have technology for that. But I don't know, what would you, okay, back to the Tantra retreat and all this jazz. Would I go to, this one was massive. I don't think I'd ever go to something like this. And honestly, I don't think we would. Like, I like a couple, like if a new wants to go, then we go.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, it's weird. I had such a mixed experience with yoga. Like, I loved it so much, but there is this, like, I don't want to use the word cultiness, but like in a weird way, just kind of seems, I don't know, like this concept of like, you don't need to worry about the future at all. And I'm like, listen, okay, you don't have to worry in the sense of stress yourself out, but you should have a goal, or at least like something to work forward to. Like, I don't know this, I like, oh, no rushing. And I don't know, maybe that's something on me, but I kind of was like, guys, come on, you just sit here all day and do this every single day, every day. Like, what happens in like 50 years, you're going to run out of money. Like, that's kind of where, not like life is about money, but like it means, money is wealth and security and health. It's better food. It's better just in general to get things that you need. Like, I don't know, in Canada, you got to pay extra if you want the special healthcare, you want the good healthcare, you want the good anything. So
we're talking about this in a year. The UK might be the same with the way they're having talks about privatizing our NHS at the moment.
Like,
but, it'll be awful if it happens. But
we have healthcare here, but honestly, like there's places that you can pay extra to get like just above the thing. But I feel like it's teetering. Like people are, It's gotten to the point that people are like, I would rather pay for a health card than wait because it's so bad. But the problem is if people just keep saying that over and over again, right? Like,
we have a very similar thing over here. But I agree, like with your whole thing about money, I've always said to people, it's when people make that, oh, you know, money doesn't buy happiness. And I'm like, you grew up with money.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who tells you money doesn't buy happiness has never cried themselves to sleep because they can't afford their rent, and has never had to make decisions between paying the bills and making sure they have food in the house. And I say that as somebody who grew up like that, grew up with my mum sending me up to my grandparents because because money was tight, so I got fed while my mum went without. And I'm like, but money buys stability, and stability is better than happiness, because you can be happy when you are stable. It's why when you have stable mental health, you are a happy person.
100%. And I know what you mean. The vibes from that at this place too.
Yeah.
Very much like, oh, like it's just different over here. Like, it's just okay. Maybe I'm judging, but I'm stinkingly getting that feeling here.
I know the type of vibe. I got the same vibe from watching this, actually, where it's okay. It's great that they've got it. It's really interesting. But if you were somebody who didn't have cameras around you and you weren't being paid to be that, would you have been given as much leeway to stand there to the other students and to the teachers and say, I don't agree with what you've said?
Yeah.
Because I find, like, I know the type, like, especially in the UK, I know the type of UK person that would go to that type of a retreat. And they're very cliquey. It's not culty, it's cliquey. Okay. They have a very specific mindset. They're usually middle class. Never suffered. Without being rude, they're usually from Bristol as well, but that's a different thing. And they are the types of people that, like you said, the minute if you say anything that they view that doesn't fit their mindset, suddenly your vibes are off. And you're such a negative person. I'm not a negative person. I just have this very specific moment of stress in my life. No, you're very like, why won't you just like not do anything and like go and be free and lazy because I've got to work? Oh, but you're just buying into the capitalist ideal. Unfortunately, darling, capitalism runs the world right now.
No, but honestly, like, what the fuck, dude? Like, it's capitalism. That means you can do it too. Like, what the hell? Like, that's what I also hate about this as well. Like, you can do it too. Before you talk shit, you can go do this too. Because like a lot of, I don't know. That's the vibe. That's the vibe.
Yeah, but I've still just paid to come here and do this. So you're making money off of it while judging me for worrying.
Well, that's the fun of it. Wasn't that one woman's yoni egg like 65 US or something? I was like, fuck off. I was like, I was like, wow, man, there you go.
It did make me laugh.
One egg, $65 in a country like that is literally like you're set for weeks. Like that's the thing, like in India, like that's the thing about these people that also kind of aggravated me about this, like, you don't need it. That like they can just play a guitar for like 20 bucks and then they're good for like a day. Like they don't even see how well they have it, even the country that they're residing in, like somewhat, like just the people that actually live there. I don't know. It was something. I learned a lot about myself as to values, and like this beef with money. People have such a problem. They have a hate for it. And I'm like, you know what? If you actually love money a little bit, it might come in your direction. You just don't know. Like you have to manifest it into your life.
Exactly. So, that's why I have pictures of me surrounded by money around my little home office.
Now I'm like, yes, this will be the year. But like overall, I did see that mine won't be structured for single people, and it will be more like a course. Like you'll be coming for an X amount of days, like kind of run it like that. And where you can slot in and then people can leave. Because I do want this to be a couples deepening like relationship, because I see because my, what is the one sex retreat in Jamaica? Oh, hedoism too. So I love them, but they're kind of like the fun, playful, like girls got like the wild party type esque like to it. And I just kind of want this more to be like a relationship building retreat. So this was a great this was a great video to watch. Like I actually want structured start to finish, kind of like that all you can like drink or all inclusive or whatever they are vacations, like where you just you arrive and then come back. So yeah, I like this one. We'll get another one to watch. This one was fun.
Yeah, no, I think there was another one that came up on my thing, and it was like the Tokyo Love thing, and I thought that might have been a good one to watch as well. I'll find it and send it to you. But because I know they've got like a whole thing, but with your one as well, no, I think it has to be couples because of the topic and structured as well. But I think also what you are doing, you are not looking like, you know, it'll be about BDSM, it'll be about wellness. You need it to be people who can hit the ground running, know what each other's limits are, have already had these conversations. I don't think you would
even
get
if they haven't, like I don't mind. That's the thing. I'll teach people the basics at this place. You don't have to know anything to come here, but you have to be with a trusted partner. I have to trust that you can partner on your own. I'm not a matchmaker.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you know, it has to be one where especially for things like impact play and, you know, learning how to say your safe words and it needs to be somebody, you know, it can't just be, I met this person there, we've never talked before, and suddenly I'm allowing someone to tie me up and to spank me. I think they wouldn't get what you were hoping to give them out of an experience.
Exactly. And also like it limits, it reduces, when I say limits, it reduces the chance of these predators coming, because there's going to be no single people here. You have to know who you're coming with. Like
20 questions on the door, guys.
Well, I think a big way to like avoid this is like, you know, I telling secrets here, but I definitely want to send out things where people give me information about themselves before they actually hit me, so I can like make the program the best for the classes that are there. And like at best I'd extend it out to small groups like of 3 or 4 couples at best. But like, yeah, this one was good, like small groups types like that. But this was great. Like I learned what a Lingam Massage was, which is basically a hand job. Like it's a hand job. But
I thought it was
called a hand job.
I thought it was just tapping the penis like a little microphone in my opinion. Testing.
What did you think about the ones? Oh, the energy ones, the ones that were pretending to have sex that weren't having sex.
The one between the girl who does it on her own.
Sorry?
The girl who does it on her own. She had the rich German guy come with her.
Yes.
I'll be honest, when she's like in his lap, I liked it. I was like,
I feel like we just like it's like that's part of the build up, the lead up. Like that's the thing too. Like you can just drag sex out. I think people need to drag sex out, and that was a good one. Like basically go back to grinding. Like we were all in high school, like at least here, or like grinding up in middle school up on people. Bring that back.
I agree. I love it. Like there's nothing hotter to me than being in someone's lap as you're like making out with them and like feeling their presence. I really liked it. Maybe for me as well, I think that type of thing I would have gotten more from because it was one-on-one. And I would say trying Tantra potentially, yes, with a partner, not just somebody I've randomly met. But I wouldn't do a retreat experience. Like you said, like would I like that many people in my space, no, that would, especially the yoni egg one, when she's like, oh yeah, and like she said, I wouldn't be comfortable putting one in me on my own, like in front of other people. And I was like, God, no, not with my little vagissimus clam vagina. She'd get shy.
Well, I didn't like that. it was kind of like, oh, you have to be okay. Like, you have to be okay to do this in front of people, obviously, if you're going there. But the idea that like more people should or anything like that, like, well, you wouldn't be going there if you thought that way. But like, yeah, I would hate for people to think you have to be okay to have sex in front of a group of people or be that intimate with strangers. You don't have to. I don't know. I don't think you have to. You don't have to. That's ridiculous.
You don't have to. I think, and yeah, I know exactly what I mean. I think when we're talking about the cliques, that's the type of people it is. It's those people that do expect you to have a level of openness and intimacy with complete strangers.
Well, the guy with the hug who crying on me, like I said, like, oh, that wasn't chill. Like, I don't know. I didn't particularly, that wasn't my favorite moment of the evening. And then it's just like one of those things like, oh, if you love more. And I was like, I do love, like, don't tell me I don't love. I just, dude, what? I didn't expect it. I kind of was just like, okay, we don't come from the same planet. We clearly just aren't gonna see eye to eye on this situation here. So I'm just gonna say, okay, yeah, next time. But yes, this was a great conversation about Tantra Island. So this is a I would not go in a group setting conversation. I guess it ends with that.
Tell us if you would, everybody.
Yes, if you would do this, if you would come to my special one, we could do it with less people one day. But thank you so much for joining us on the show today, and have yourself a great day, Katrina.
Thank you, you as well. And I can't wait to speak to you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that's it for us. Make sure to follow us on Instagram to stay up to date. You can find me at _partition_life and Katrina at _satisfied cat. Thank you for listening. Tune in next week, and as always, stay kinky.